Let's talk about the Earnest Money Deposit, or EMD. When you make an offer on a home and the offer gets accepted, you're going to want to put down a good faith deposit. That is the earnest money, and it helps show the seller that you're serious about buying their home. Earnest money is typically between 1 and 3% of the purchase price, but it can be negotiated and it will be reflected on your residential purchase agreement. The earnest money is given to escrow, not your agent, and it can be refunded to the buyer as long as they cancel within their due diligence period and both parties sign to release the money. If a buyer tries to cancel after their due diligence period, then the seller may be able to retain their earnest money, given the fact that the buyer would then be in breach of contract. If you're working with an agent like myself, they should inform you of the risks before removing contingencies to keep you out of a situation like this. For an example, let's say you do an inspection and you don't like the findings or your financing changes in some way. You can get your EMD deposit back as long as you're still within the contractual time frame and you have not removed those contingencies yet. Now, on the flip side, let's say it's 5 days before closing, you've removed all your contingencies, you're good to go, and you decide, you know what, I just don't want the house anymore. That would be a situation where the seller could retain your deposit because at this point, you've taken them almost to the finish line and, they could have been in another escrow with another buyer who was willing to go through with the purchase, or maybe they have their house needs to sell to get into the next house and they have another house contingent on that sale. So in that case, it would be fair that the seller does get to retain the buyer's deposit. By default, the EMD money is sent over to escrow within 3 business days of an accepted offer unless otherwise specified in your contract, and that money is applied towards your closing costs and down payment. It's not in addition to that, and in some cases, it's even refunded back to the buyer. And that sums up the earnest money deposit. If you have any more questions on this, give me a call at 530-282-9905, and I'd be happy to help. I'm Julie Castaneda with eXp Realty.